Dozens of people are searching for a missing hiker in the gorge.
21-year-old Riley Zickel set out on an overnight hike by himself.
Colorado County Sheriff's Office is searching for a missing hiker on the Olympic Peninsula.
John and Trevor Higgins, the father and son, were last seen Friday. They disappeared while hunting near Bear Camp Road above Agnes.
21-year-old Riley Zickel, the senior at Lewis and Clark College, disappeared.
An emotional plea from friends of a woman who is missing right now in the Skamania County wilderness. She's 19 years old, Maureen Kelly.
Searchers are looking for a 76-year-old farmer who did not come back from mushroom hunting near Grangeville.
Welcome to the Pacific Northwest Missing Persons Project. I'm your host, Tanner Hoskins, founder and executive director of PNW MPP, and I want to thank you for tuning in to this week's episode. A few things I would like to bring up before we dive into the cases highlighted in this week's episode is that Pacific Northwest Bigfoot Search is starting our own podcast. This podcast is hosted by Alberto Quinones, Kelly Stolp, and myself, along with Mike Palagi joining us periodically. We will have guests on the show, including members of Small Town Monsters, Scott Tompkins from the Bigfoot Mapping Project, eyewitnesses, and many more. The podcast will begin airing in April, so stay tuned. The second announcement is that if you are an OnX map user, I have outstanding news for you. Pacific Northwest Missing Persons Project and Pacific Northwest Bigfoot Search have teamed up with OnX and can now offer an exclusive discount code for this wilderness exploration software. A link to the discount code is available in the podcast description of this episode. Proceeds that we receive from you signing up go towards funding our field operations in search of missing persons. Thank you for sitting through those announcements. Now let's get into this week's episode. The first story I'd like to delve into is the perplexing disappearance of David Walter Uhl, an experienced outdoorsman who vanished in the rugged terrain of Priest Lake, Idaho in 2010. David, born on July 12th of 1954, was a 56-year-old retiree residing in Old Town, Idaho. Known for his love of nature and hunting, he was well acquainted with the wilderness of the Idaho Panhandle. On September 21st of 2010, David set out for a day hike in the Selkirk Mountains east of Priest Lake. He left no detailed itinerary, a common practice for someone so familiar with an area. Please don't do that yourself. When days passed without any communication from him, his family grew concerned and reported him missing on October 26th. The first significant clue emerged on October 8th when an Idaho Department of Lands employee noticed a pickup truck that was parked on the south side of the Wigwams, a 7,033-foot mountain in the area of Priest Lake State Forest. The vehicle didn't raise any immediate suspicion, as it was common for hunters to leave their trucks parked for extended periods of time during the season. The employee placed notes on the truck, intending to inform the owner about upcoming gate closures. But it wasn't until October 26th, after the vehicle was reported abandoned, that authorities connected it to David. Inside the truck, searchers found a half-full cup of coffee, suggesting that he didn't plan to be away for very long. And even with an extensive search ensuing, involving ground teams, dog handlers, and officials from both Bonner and Boundary County Sheriff's Office, no trace of David was ever found. The challenging terrain, combined with early snowfall, which had up to 2 feet in some areas, hampered all search operations. On October 30th of 2010, the search was suspended, with plans to resume in the spring. Unfortunately, as of today, David Uhl remains missing, and his case remains unsolved. David's disappearance highlights the inherent risks even seasoned outdoorsmen face when venturing into the wilderness alone. If you are in the area recreating and find anything that appears out of place or might belong to somebody that was hunting in the area, please contact the Bonner County Sheriff's Office at 208-263-8417. Further information about David can be found in the podcast description under Sources. The second story is the disappearance of 74-year-old Charles Edward Dehner, who vanished also near Priest Lake, Idaho, on July 16th of 1992. Charles and his wife Jean were residents of Spokane, Washington. They cherished their retreat to a cozy cabin nestled north of Priest Lake that they owned. This area is renowned for its lush landscapes and abundant huckleberry patches, and it was their sanctuary. The couple frequently ventured into this section of the woods, immersing themselves in the serene beauty of nature. But on July 16th of 1992, the Dehners set out for a huckleberry picking excursion near Caribou Creek drainage area, close to a place called Lion Head Campground. This region is characterized by its rugged terrain, with Caribou Creek meandering through dense forests and steep, tiered cascades, including the notable Caribou Falls. The area is a tapestry of thick underbrush, towering evergreens, and uneven terrain, making navigation extremely challenging, even for seasoned explorers. While foraging between Caribou Hill and Trapper Creek, the couple became separated amidst the dense foliage. Charles, who was carrying the truck keys, was last seen by Jean as he disappeared into the thick underbrush. As daylight waned and Charles did not return, Jean waited by their vehicle, enduring a restless and anxious night alone in the wilderness. As dawn rose, Jean was driven by concern and embarked on an 8-mile trek to the Lion Head Campground office to seek assistance. The response was swift and robust. A massive search operation was launched, mobilizing up to 150 volunteers, tracking dogs, and aerial reconnaissance. The challenging terrain with its dense forest canopy and steep inclines significantly hampered the search effort. Despite the exhaustive search, Charles remained missing. During the search efforts, searchers did discover items such as a sock, underwear, and some unidentified tissue and bodily fluids. However, none of these findings could be conclusively linked to Charles. As days began to turn into weeks, the hopes of finding Charles dwindled. Charles was known to stand at about 5'9" to 5'10", weighing about 165 to 175 pounds, with white hair and brown eyes. At the time of his disappearance, Charles was in good health and possessed extensive knowledge of the local wilderness. But unfortunately, even to this day, his case remains unsolved. If you have any information regarding Charles's disappearance, please contact the Bonner County Sheriff's Office at 208-263-8417. That's all I have for this week's episode. Until next time, stay curious, be overprepared, and get to know the missing person cases in the area you plan to recreate in. You never know when you might come across something that brings answers or closure to a grieving family. Thank you.